fun, like, it's like a, it's like a jail, but you only get like 3 hours before drive.
You're the one who wants her.
Yeah.
We're just gonna ski today. Sunday, back on a Wednesday.
Well, that's perfect, because it'll be it's such a cute little village.
So that's the March.
Yeah.
Just the next one in March. I think 18th or 19th or something. I just want I should have.
And does your, no, I don't think our Suburban Pass gets us free skating. I don't think so. I think it's like,
Because when I booked a hotel,
I think it's like,
I booked a,
I don't even know how to do it.
we bought the icon base of our.
I told you that.
We went to Steamboat last week, last
Yeah, whenever you
and so you get 5 days there, and you do $150 a day. You get $200 each to get my child. Yes. Last winter we decided, so we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So in
So
June.
what maps do you have here?
We have a gold.
You have gold, okay.
I wouldn't have it otherwise.
Gold because like right now.
I want to ski when I can ski.
So I could really switch to something. If he's able to get a son,
Right.
we'll go like that again.
Yes. Yes, perfect. That's what we do. Yes, we're the same. When we ski on weekends by ourselves, it's.
No, I'm not sick. I'm not sick. My husband is, so we just like let him.
I feel like I want to die.
Oh God, I will not be back here until you. No, I do not.
Exactly.
Not my world. Enjoy your cushy life on the couch. Yeah, for sure. I will burn the house down. I will get sick right now.
I read the agenda. I was like, cool. I guess you can. Yeah.
I know, you do.
Thanks. Okay, that's great. That's exciting. With your plumbing experience.
Actually, I usually.
I know, but that's
I got that stuff just from like dinner.
because you're around it.
And I tend to just know when you talked about work a lot, but apparently.
Of course you do. Just being around it.
Yeah.
That's good luck. So it's full time, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for your tips about because that's what got on the agenda.
Your kids okay with that?
Yeah, we are
Yeah, I
here.
take my lunch and bring it home because I
You
was thinking about
can be flexible. Yeah, you can be
How you
flexible.
feel?
It's the last
So much
minute
better.
before
I
the
can
meeting
go back
starts.
early.
Takes like 10 minutes.
Hi.
However.
More of something, yes.
Like,
And I got the
let's
holiday.
go.
Oh, good.
Yes, you got, oh, good.
A couple times today, I'm like, I need to
Go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Select Board regular meeting on this Wednesday, February 7th at 6 p.m. I would call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Everyone is present. If we could all stand for the flag salute, right there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the agenda is public comment. Anyone can make a public comment. If you would like to make a public comment, just raise your hand. I'll call on you, state your name, where you live, and say whatever it is that you want to say.
I actually turned it off. The ringer is off.
Interesting.
It is.
Obviously, ghosts, man, ghosts are spooky. Does anybody want to make any public comment tonight? Hearing none, I will move on to adjustments to the agenda. I didn't see any in the packet. We don't have any.
There are none.
Okay, great. Next up is action on minutes. Does everyone have a copy of minutes from January 17th? I would make a motion that we approve the comments, or the minutes from January 17th.
Second.
Any notes on these? Okay, all those in favor? Um, 7 is acceptance of grants, donations, reimbursements, and sales of materials. There's nothing available there, so we'll move on to the town manager report. Sharon?
Okay. On Wednesday, January 31st, Tyler Dow and John Sikora with the engineering firm of Weston and Sampson from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, moderated the pre-bid conference meeting for the installation of the new pump station and associated appurtenances tie into the existing force main and reconstruction with the demolition of the existing pump station that was held here at the town office. The removal of the existing 6-inch vitrified clay pipe sewer main and installation of a new 8-inch polyvinyl chloride pipe sewer main and associated items on Main Route Highway in Bethel. Your package includes the agenda that we had at the meeting, a list of the attendees, and the advertisement for the bids. Toby, Kristen, and Luke from the treatment plant attended, Michelle Cole and myself attended. After the conference, they went on a site walk to the job locations. Bids are due February 20th at 11 a.m. and will be publicly opened and read aloud here at the town office. The blueprints and the bid binder are in the CEO's office for a public viewing. I gave you the January newsletter from ABCOG that's included in your packet. Maine DOT is conducting an on-demand public meeting for the proposed design and construction of a 1,600-foot sidewalk from the existing sidewalk on the Route 2 overpass to the existing multi-use trail, Bethel Pathway on Route 2, closing a gap in the sidewalk network. A link to this and other meetings can be seen at any time at the address listed here to log into, and we have that posted. The on-demand meeting will consist of information describing the proposed projects. Comments and any input will be accepted through the website from February 1st, 2024 until February 19th, or you can contact Daniel. His phone number is listed, or his email is also listed. That letter I'm referring to is posted here at the town office, and it is posted on the town website. And I've given you a copy of that in your packet also. There's a copy of the 2024 meeting and workshop schedule for the Oxford County Commissioners in your packet. That meeting schedule is through the end of this year. I've given you the January Oxford County Sheriff Log that we receive monthly, and copies of the monthly financial reports for January are also included in your packet. Friday, February 2nd, Courtney and I had a conference call with Mary Costigan, the attorney from Bernstein Shore, to discuss what is needed to be done to bring our ordinances in compliance with the LD 2003. The law for this will go into effect July 1st, 2024. I've given you a copy of that also in your packet with your reports. This morning, Courtney had a Zoom call with Mary Costigan to go over what actually needs to be done, and I'm going to have her tell you the update of that call as soon as my report is done. Budget meetings with department heads has been going on. It's been working really well. I have received some of the letters from the nonprofits and other agencies who are requesting money, who requested money last year. Next week, I will call those agencies who have not sent a request in to see if they have one. We're averaging about 2 hours for each budget meeting with the department heads. I met with Nate on his budget. and he gave me a report for January and December. The ice rink, he said the initial fill was delayed due to the December 18th to 21st storm, and challenging weather has limited skating times. New lights have been well received. They continue to have a small number of volunteers, which may impact closing the season earlier. The Telstar ski program is running smoothly. Week's attendance are lower due to the participant conflicts they're having. Week 2 is canceled due to a snow day. He was able to negotiate a credit with the charter company. The basketball program, that is also going well. Mike Pelletier is running that program with little support needed. The numbers are down, but registrations are still coming in. The indoor soccer program was a successful youth program wrapped up in mid-December. Grades 3 through 8 participated. Competed a couple of weeks of adult pickup at soccer at the Telstar gym. It's gaining support for a soccer adult program. Gym space and staffing is limited. However, the school district is very supportive in making gyms available when possible. Baseball and softball, initial coaches discussions are taking place, and recruitment of volunteers to fill identified gaps are underway, as well as planning for indoor clinics in advance of the season. Today, Amy and I met with 3 representatives from FEMA for about 30 minutes, and then we had about an hour's worth of work after getting everything ready. The Disaster Assistance Program provides options that they told us about for homeowners and renters to get in touch with FEMA. We made copies of all the information, and that's in your packet. So the other thing we did was, it's been posted on the Facebook page, the town web page. About 25 copies have been made of all of this information are here at the town office. If anyone has any discussions about it, they can see me or Amy. We did receive, you may remember, a list from FEMA of 10 property owners back at the time that they wanted to come here and go directly to see. Their scheduling prohibited that. Time-wise, they did go to get to go to the trailer park. So all of the 10 people that were identified there, those were the properties that FEMA received and felt had the worst damages. We're sending emails with these copies directly to these people so they know what to do to apply for assistance. So this particular assistance is for property owners and, for renters and homeowners for the FEMA reimbursement that they can apply for. For the small business owners, there is no direct reimbursement from FEMA. What there is small business loans with low interest rates that will be available to them. So they are advising that all parties, including homeowners, to go to their homeowners policies first. What they will do, if their homeowner policy doesn't cover, then they can apply, FEMA will pick it up. If they need repairs before their homeowners kicks in, FEMA will pay for those under the plan. They will just have to reimburse FEMA back if their homeowner pays after. We also discussed the municipal end of the reimbursement program, which we are covered, the municipality, in that. Tomorrow there is going to be the public information program that's going to be on Zoom, and some of the staff will be here to watch that when that comes in at 10. The staff that have pre-scheduled appointments will watch the pre-recorded briefing after that, so that we're all involved, the departments that have to provide the information that has to be submitted to FEMA's portal to get registered so that the town can get reimbursement. One good thing with the municipal end of it is we will be able to mitigate what we submit. So as an example, and I'll use the wastewater treatment plant. If we submit damages to one thing that we have to replace or whatever, we would get that replacement back. However, if this is something that is a constant when we have flooding or whatever, we can sit down and have discussions as to what over and above is needed to prevent this from happening again. So we wouldn't just be entitled to receive the cost of the replacement to fix. And I've been through one of them and it does work, because the good thing is this one particular situation I'm thinking about, a box culvert was provided that eliminated flooding of that road, and it's never flooded since. So the wastewater treatment plant will be a good place to probably look at some of the mitigations where we can receive funding to improve our replacements. So I think that was it on the FEMA.
Before we move on, can I ask a question about FEMA specifically?
What's that?
Can I ask a question about FEMA?
Yes.
A clarification question? So renters or homeowners can apply for FEMA. If the house is rented, does the property owner apply or does the renter apply?
No, it's the owner of the property.
Okay.
So if someone is in the trailer park and they rented a trailer,
Mhm.
they can apply for assistance for their personal belongings.
Got it.
But they don't own the trailer, so they can't.
Okay.
And the owner, who is the trailer park owner, he cannot apply
Okay.
because he's not the primary resident. He can only apply for his primary resident. If in the trailer park, someone actually owned their trailer, then they can apply for the trailer and for the contents.
And what about, obviously a lot of the houses around here are owned by somebody, but it's not their primary residence?
Primary resident only is
Got it.
covered.
Okay, cool.
It's not the landlord.
So if someone has put in a claim, but FEMA hasn't been to them yet, are they still going to go to them, or do they have to do something else?
No, do you have your papers right there handy that I gave you, the colored printed ones? There's 3 forms, there's 3 methods of registering again, and you need to be doing that. There's an 800 number, there's an online number, and then there's the new center that just, they opened up in Rumford.
So they need to redo the thing with their.
Yes, and when they do this, the beginning stages of this was to submit estimates,
Yeah.
and that, yes, we had problems. Now go through and do these are the pages here.
Okay.
And we have the handouts, and we did them all in color, and I think they're even in the window.
Great.
So make sure you do one of them, and that's why I said anybody has any questions, it doesn't hurt to make sure that you cover all your bases, and then they'll guide the people and help them through in what needs to be done.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I do have to say, we were very responsive on either calling the 800 number, and then their portal directs you pretty well.
Yes, it does.
too, so.
And what's good about this time, I remember 10 years ago when this was done, there was no portal to input all this information. It was all hand applications that we had to do, so this is a big improvement. And we will have 1 month to continue to submit, and so will the public. The next thing is Amy, Jessica, and I are going to be meeting with Kirsten Heber, who is the Director of Maine Rural Water, the week of February 19th to review the language in our sewer billing service that they provide to us. We outsource our sewer billing, as you know. We originally had a 6-month agreement that was from December 15th, 2022 through June 15th, 2023. And that expired, and then they were working on a 12-month draft that was sent here, but it was never approved by the town. So that's what we have to work on now. There are a lot of changes that need to be made. There was requests as They were the contractor, they were supposed to provide us information on a monthly basis that we never got here. Now they're starting a lien process for 2 periods. One is very close, and those liens should have been done quite a while ago. We just got notification this week of that. So we do have the list, I requested the list, and we compared that. So the lien process is going to be starting for the sewer bills that have not been paid, and there's a window, and sewer liens are done just like the property tax liens, but their time frames are different. So right now, we pay them $15,000 a year to do our outsourcing for the sewer bills, plus we have to pay for the cost of postage envelopes and the bill processing materials. We're supposed to split that cost with the water district, and that was supposed to happen after we started getting a double bill. So we have to make sure that that's actually, happening, that we're only paying half of that. And we don't know what they might be looking at to increase this cost here. So I'll update you. We should have that information by the next meeting. And then Monday, Frank and I met, and we did go over the Oxford County Patrol Agreement, as we had said we were gonna do. Included the suggestions from the board members that we got. We talked about all the discussion points, and what I'll be doing now is I will be adding all of those to update that agreement in a draft form. I will call the county commissioners to schedule a meeting with them so that I can talk to them about the concerns we have with the language in the contract. And the other point will be to talk to them about the amount that we're paying, and I will ask for an accountability on knowing what that amount includes. You can't just tell someone they owe X amount of dollars and not have an itemized list of what that includes. So I'll be looking for that as well when I meet with them. And that's my report.
When you do speak to them, would you also bring up the fact that in the contract it says that if either party is requested for a meeting, they are to attend it?
Yes.
Thank you.
So sassy, Pat.
Okay.
Alrighty. Did you want Courtney to talk
Oh, yes. Thank
Hi,
you.
Courtney.
Hello, good evening. So this morning I met with Mary Costigan via Zoom regarding LD 2003. So I think originally or the town in general was thinking that this may have to be a whole new ordinance. So according to Mary, where we don't have zoning, a large portion of this LD 2003 won't affect Bethel. So we met regarding it. In most towns, it's going to affect shoreland. It's also going to affect their zoning and site plan. For the town of Bethel, it seems like the majority of the amendments to our ordinance is going to be affecting our site plan. And it's going to be affecting 140-7 special regulations for multifamily dwellings. We discussed a couple of things. Some of our ordinances kind of already meet what's in the bill. We will have to look at things such as density for affordable housing. We may need to adjust some parking for affordable housing. And then there is some spots in there too regarding how many dwelling units can be placed on a lot if you're on town sewer and water versus if you're not on town sewer and water. Mary is going to look into that and get back to me, I hope within a week or two, to see what amendments we can suggest. As far as shoreland too, she reviewed it, I reviewed it. She said the thing with shoreland is the shoreland rules and regulations that are already implemented are going to trump this bill. But we also, most of our ordinances, it's not going to affect building on shoreland really in the town of Bethel. So.
And she felt confident that she would have everything ready for us,
Yeah.
so that we would be able to have everything ready so that that change can be on the town meeting warrant. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Any questions?
Do we have to specify that, the historical district is exempt from that?
I believe it's exempt anyway. I can look into it. I can make a note, when I meet with her again.
I didn't know if it had to be clarified in that ordinance.
That's a good question. I'll check with her just to clarify that. I mean, a big portion of the bill does reference zoning, and where we don't have zoning, I mean, it kind of exempts us for a large
That's
portion
good
of
news.
it. So, yeah, it's definitely not as big as a job as I think
Right.
originally was thought. I think it'll be a handful of amendments potentially to the ordinance and not a whole new ordinance, so that's very good news. So I'll make a note of that.
Thanks, Courtney. Great, so now we're going into business items. 10A is action to approve the renewal permit for the adult use marijuana store for Mainly LLC doing business as Brilliant Buds.
I thought they were just here. Weren't they just here?
We've been here for a few different things. This is the storefront renewal. We've been there. We downsized from a tier 3 to a tier 2. That's what we were in here recently for.
Right.
And to be back to make an adjustment to our site for a manufacturing facility. So that'll be coming up.
So we'll see you again.
Yeah.
One more time for
Well,
funsies.
between here, Auburn, Kittery, all over the place.
Okay, just have one thing on the permit fees page. It says marijuana retail store, adult and medical. Should that not be separated out?
Say that again?
On page 4,
The licensing fees.
where it says permit fees,
Yeah.
it says adult and medical together. It's not like,
Adult or medical? You're saying it doesn't say that?
I think it should be specified whether it's an adult store or if it's a medical store, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it should be specified by the function, not by the fee associated.
Some of that may change when Mary finishes with, wasn't part of the review of the application
Right.
with Mary. Not the fees.
No, the fees are, have nothing to do with.
I'm just saying the wording on that page should, I'm just asking if, in my opinion, it should be separated out as to one,
That's fair.
one for one and one for the other.
Let's talk about it during, select board items.
Okay.
And
We'll say the state does, when we apply for a state license.
it does separate
Yeah,
it?
it's separate.
It has
So
to
you
separate.
yes.
It has to.
Yeah.
If
Right.
you're applying for medical facilities, recreational facilities, storefronts, you specify separately essentially what you're.
But I think we'll get there.
Yeah,
because
I think
we're
we're
gonna be
We have to
redoing
redo the whole fee
application.
schedule anyway, so, but anyways, this application, I guess I'll, motion to approve the renewal permit for adult use marijuana store for Mainly LLC doing business as Brilliant Buds.
Is it is adult use?
Yes.
Any, comment on this application?
Just a quick question, thank you Courtney for your overview letter and as the new CEO. And were you able to visit the property?
I did not. I reviewed their files in the office, and the information that was provided. I did not have it.
There it is.
Yeah, that was helpful, because we haven't had that before, to have that letter attached to it, because I,
Anytime I don't have to move.
And the other thing too, that I'll point out is that Courtney did redo the permit, so that's she drafted a new permit, so she did a good job on that.
Okay, all those in favor? Great. Thanks, David.
I'll be in tomorrow. Thank you guys, have a good night.
Bye. 10D, discussion and action to approve the planning board request to allow the ORC to review site plan standard 140-73 and any other applicable codes to provide clarity in the site plan ordinance standards. Okay. So,
This is a discussion.
this is just a discussion.
Potential action.
So the current problem that she specified in this application was that the height requirement for a multifamily new construction has no definition of 2.5 stories, essentially what a half story is. And it needs clarity for the applicants. I can say, as a former member of the planning board, I agree.
So what did it say before?
So is this 35 feet or,
And now it says and?
or was
No.
it and or?
No,
No,
it
it's
was
two
four.
separate lines.
It was on 2 separate lines. It's currently, both standards have to be met.
Okay.
Before, there was an or.
Which is great.
So when we were having to apply those standards, it became very clear that there was no definition. It was pointed out to us, and it will not help applicants who want to develop plans to conform with our current standard. And it certainly wasn't helpful to the planning board as we tried to respond to their concerns about the lack of a definition.
Mhm.
I will, is that okay for me to
Yeah,
speak?
go right ahead.
Do I have to introduce myself?
Lori Windsor, the
Okay.
floor.
So, one of the things I do want to say is, I think it's very important if this is assigned to ORC, that the issue of whatever is developed is compatible with the definition of a story. In other words, what we don't want to do is take a step back and then be it pointed out to us in 6 months, these two things don't jive. So, just want to highlight that because that will be very important. A half story has to be in relation to whatever the definition of a story is.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened.
Right, yeah, I guess, yeah, that was my question, like, if we only went to 35 feet, what would,
Well, I think this is kind of part of what ORC would do, is not necessarily just give us some options, as opposed to like, so like, yeah, we can just take away the 2.5 stories and have it just be 35 feet. Or if we keep it 2.5 stories, then we have to amend the definitions. So I guess that would be what the ORC would be looking into, or what?
I will say in response to that, that when the planning board, when this was brought before the planning board for some consideration, there was a discussion among planning board members about what the right request should be. And there was a consensus, a majority on the planning board who felt, given the fact that town meeting, as some of them recalled, had specific reasons why they wanted both standards, mostly around village and community character, as it was described. I wasn't present at that town meeting to know the history myself, and felt it was not appropriate for us to go as far as to say 2.5 stories should be abandoned, and only 35 feet should be
So
considered.
when we say, just for my own clarity, if someone can answer this question, when we say town meeting, was there something voted on at town meeting that kept a community standard, or was this just a conversation at town meeting between some citizens?
I think probably there may even be a record of
Yeah,
what
that's why
was
I'm
said
asking.
at town meeting.
That's what I wanna see.
I can't assist in that because I don't know, but those who were at the planning board who felt they recalled what happened is it was, in their mind, intentional, why it was both. And so maybe there's some opportunity to look back at, sometimes when you have a ordinance thing, you've always had a little packet describing what's the rationale behind this amendment, and maybe that can assist.
no, because I feel like there would have been some reason
Yes.
to go from or to and, because or would have made it, your decision easier, right? But there was a reason to change it, and then
Yes.
now it made it more complicated.
I don't think OR made anything easy.
No.
I think OR made it
there's
very
no reason-
difficult.
Maybe there's no reason to change the ordinance, because to me, the ordinance is clear. 2.5 stories is, I'll tell you why it's clear to me.
Yeah.
A half story is half a wall. If you have 8-foot walls, now you have a 4-foot wall with a roof system. That's a 2.5 story. To me, that's kind of cut and dry.
And we'd have to put it
So
there.
the,
So why would there be a problem
Because-
with that?
The-
because Laura.
Another way of looking at it is 35 feet is 35 feet. You can have 2 stories, you can
Yeah,
have 3
5
stories,
little
as long as it's 35 feet, that covers what the fire chief is requiring them
So
to.
where's the problem?
I don't know why we need the 2.5
When
stories.
we were deliberating a proposal at a recent meeting, there was the proposal came forward as their intention that this be viewed as 2.5 stories. And they pointed out that there was no definition of 2.5 stories, and we got into quite a discussion with our legal counsel representative about the factors that could weigh into how one would describe 2.5 stories, whether, and, you know, meaning containing gambrels and dormers, is it just in relation to the clear ceiling height, as you're pointing out, so it, to the planning board members, it felt messy, and would it be better to have a definition?
It'd be better not to have that in there, it's just creating.
Well,
I
I'm
think
sure the
cut and dry
ordinance
is
committee
those.
will, and the town meeting people will take that part of it
35
off.
feet is 35 feet, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's also the 2.5 story piece. And again, like Lori said, the configuration of what the applicant's, in this case, is definition of a half story is not necessarily the one that we think of. It's not Merriam-Webster's. And so they made argument that this qualified under our code. And then it made it a little shaky when we couldn't point
It makes it
yeah,
messy.
we couldn't
yes.
point to
Point
something,
to
yeah, exactly.
what a half story is.
Right,
in our
so if
mind.
that wasn't
So
in there, then it would be,
Yeah.
it'd be very cut and dry, it's 25 feet.
Right, I think there is some backstory as to why it's 2.5 feet, particularly in the village area. So I think there's more background on that.
Well, if you're gonna say in the village area, then you have to specify that in the
In the
code.
code.
Which
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can.
Well, hope,
Yeah.
if there is any evidence of anything that covered the
Yeah.
thing at town meeting, hopefully the ORC and would have that available to them.
Yeah. And it is
From the
listed
town
several
meeting
times throughout the
materials.
site plan.
What is?
The 2.5 stories as well as the 35 foot height is mentioned several times depending on the building construction.
Yeah.
Building type, I should say.
The building,
Yeah.
the new construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, I will say, it's hard on the, like, planning board is judicial, right? So anytime we can take the kind of onus off of the planning board to make a judgment call, I think is a safer bet for the town, legally. Anyways, so what do we wanna do with this? Send it to ORC, ask for a couple different suggestions?
I'll make a
or-
motion that it goes to ORC, it has to be taken care of.
Any comment on the motion? All those in favor? Great. Ten C, review, approve the Oxford County Name Hazard Mitigation 2024 update resolution.
So I gave you this information last week to review so that you would have, be able to take action tonight. Oxford County has completed the mitigation plan, and one of the reasons to approve this is without this, then we're not eligible for FEMA funding. So they've been working on this for quite a while, and these have gone out to all of the towns in Oxford County right now to approve it so that it can be part of their 2024 update for mitigating with FEMA for grant funding. And what it asks is approve it and then sign as select board members, the resolution that I provided you a copy of.
So this is a discussion, anyone can start?
So I just had a question, it's a rather large document. And it identifies various areas like flooding, wetlands, areas that would be considered having, needing mitigation plans. And as I went through to see Bethel and then also reading the overview here, if there's a project or a situation that was missed, i.e. 3 years from now, because I think these are good only for 5 years, right? If 3 years from now, we have a situation like they had West Bethel, there was a situation, they had various storms, but if we have, say, down by the school bus garage, if that becomes a continued issue, can we add projects to the plan?
Like amend while it's not expired?
Yeah, I
Before
mean,
it's
it sort of pigeonholes you to what they've identified,
Yeah.
that would be, you know, for mitigation plan, but if we see something, you know, for 3 years in a row, we have a situation where the Androscoggin comes up maybe on East
Yeah.
Bethel Road
Or is there like a process in which you can submit?
Right, can we submit that project within the 5 years that this plan is applicable?
Well, I would say we can submit it, I don't know if it can be amended, that I don't know. That document is a very large document, I
Yeah.
didn't print it off, and I just scanned sections of it in reading it. I would say that that would fall under the mitigation that I was just talking about, that even though it's not in this, then the town could mitigate that with FEMA. But I can see if I can get clarification too, concerning being able to amend it if we asked for it.
Or add
Yeah.
new projects
Okay,
over the next,
Yeah,
I think
we're not taking things away,
yeah.
just that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not gonna dispute that, you know,
What's
100
been
years of
identified.
the Androscoggin going over in
Okay.
West Bethel, but if we have, any new projects that come up.
okay.
Sharon, what would your recommendation be? Should we figure out the answer to that before we sign this?
No, I would sign it, especially because
With
we're
FEMA
right in
doing
the
that.
middle of FEMA right
Yeah.
now, and, I mean, we've got well over $300,000 in damages here,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
um,
So I would vote to approve the Oxford County Maine Hazard Mitigation 2024 update resolution.
Second.
Any comment on this? All those in favor? Great. Okay. 10D, discuss Spirit of America Award. I thought this year that the Spirit of America Award should just go to the employees of the town of Bethel, because they've had a really rough year. And then if we must choose one person of all the employees, I would choose Toby Walker, because he's had a very, very rough year. That's what I got.
I don't think we have to pick an individual, it says we've been to a group.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, because I think, didn't,
IGA won one year.
Woodstock just did a group, they did the group that worked on the community forest.
Aw, that's nice.
So I think you can do it too.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Great, then, that's what I think we should do. I think the town of Bethel has had a tumultuous year, and the staff have really kind of stood with us, and Oh, it's gonna wait for other people to discuss. I will make a motion, as you know. I'm not afraid of a motion. All right, well then I'll make a motion that we nominate the staff of the town of Bethel for the Spirit of America Award this year.
Second?
Any comments?
So it would be all staff,
All
like,
of
like
them.
they just all
Every
get up,
time,
okay.
We'll make
Whoever's
them
there.
all do a speech in the middle of the town meeting. Every single one of them. Yeah. All right, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you.
So can I just say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to put it on the agenda, but Jared Crockett called, and he emailed, and he called Jess. He wants to do
Another presentation.
a presentation at town meeting this year. And,
Will they come?
well, Jess told me about that. And so Jess pulled the minutes from your last year's meeting where you discussed having presenters do awards. And the Spirit of America is done at the beginning of the meeting, right? Before the meeting starts.
Yes.
And I guess at that meeting, according to the minutes, it was voted to let him do it during intermission.
Yes.
So I was surprised that you have intermission, but then Amy said it was the first year you ever had intermission. So, who was the person he wanted to recognize, or was?
Is it Eleanor Brooks?
Yeah, Eleanor Brooks.
Okay. My suggestion would be, if you want to, if you allow that, is to be, you should do it at the beginning of the meeting as well.
With the Spirit of America.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine with me.
And then the meeting takes place on its own.
Okay.
But that's your decision if you want to allow any others.
What kind of award is it? Did it say?
It was the staff, remember, because we were like a little, it was like a
This is for her,
retirement thing?
for the work she done with the,
El Summer?
yes,
Who is it for?
Yes.
Eleanor Brooks.
Is it Eleanor Brooks or Eleanor Jodry?
I'm sorry, Eleanor
It was,
Jodry.
yeah, no, it was Jodry. I was
Oh.
sorry.
Eleanor Jodry.
Eleanor Jodry.
So who's he presenting I forget, like, who's he presenting on behalf of? Or is it just his own?
No, it's the, I can go pull it up on my email.
So first off, names and all that stuff, let's talk about the action being taken place first, before we start talking about names and making this personal. We have a town meeting that we go to do town business. And part of our town business is that we recognize a spirit for the town. Now we're going to introduce that organizations come in and do their business at the town meeting. That really isn't what the town meeting is for. And once you start to go down this path, where does it end? And so my discussion here is about introducing new subject matter to a business meeting. I question that, just on the level of that. The personalities, we all love the personalities, it's our community,
Sure.
but that isn't what this is about.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think that's why I got pushed into the intermission, if I'm remembering correctly last year, it was because like, it wasn't part of the meeting. It was like. its own-
You're being a nice person,
Yeah,
you're stretching the limits of,
To be fair, we did say
Boundaries.
yes last year and he didn't show up, so.
yeah. Well, it opens the door for other organizations to do. For me, if I'm gonna now we're getting personal, so on a business level, a matter of fact level,
Yeah,
that's my position on that. So I would vote no,
okay.
based on that, just to give you a heads up.
I think that's fair, I think all of that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's already a long meeting, and you're right, it's one person this year, but once you say yes to one person, you kinda have to say yes to everybody.
Yes, and that's the reason why, it's a factual reason
Yeah.
why we're saying no. It's the fact that it's a business meeting, and we'll start to create another diversion to the meeting
Mhm.
by other people who have other similar.
Yeah,
ideas.
no, it's a perfectly reasonable feeling.
I'll just add that I think what Frank is saying is absolutely right, because the purpose of a town meeting is to conduct only the business on the warrant.
Yeah.
And that's been that way traditionally for years. And once you start allowing one group to come in and recognize, then you're setting a precedent,
Yeah.
and you're not getting the town meeting. It's hard enough to get people to come to town meeting to begin with. And the only actions that can be taken at town meeting are the items on the warrant anyway.
Okay.
So that's your decision what you want to do.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so we don't have to vote about it if we don't want to.
But I think a town manager has direction.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I'm sorry, guys, cut you off. 10E, discuss request from Katie Gettel, Ethel Bisbee Ad Hoc Committee to deliver the final report at the Select Board's April 17th meeting. Go right ahead, Katie.
Oh, well, thank you. As we reported in November, we're coming along well with our work and working towards a report. Frank came to our meeting last night, saw our working sessions for a bit, and we'll be ready at that date, and we're hoping we can get on the agenda to present our final report. That's
Awesome.
really as simple as that. Anything else, Bridget?
No, that's it.
Keeping it concise, ladies, I like it. Does anybody have any questions for them?
No,
All right.
basically, it's just gonna go on the board committee report, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just gonna present their final report.
great.
And that's the end of, I mean, that would come at the end of our year, and obviously be well in advance of a town meeting if there is something that would
I
end
think
up
we,
going there, which is not, you know.
I think we had discussed on the last time that because this is really a tool for the select board, that it didn't necessarily need to go to a town meeting or be on the warrant or anything like that.
Good.
That maybe afterwards, before we go to use it, we might, do like a community workshop or something like that, so people can come in and look at the tool and see how it works, if you guys don't mind helping us with that. But, have it be more of that kind of a process instead of being on the
Right.
warrant, which I don't think it needs to be.
I think, yeah, we would agree. I think we just wanted to make sure that it was timely in case
Yeah,
there
thank
was
you.
some need for it to go to town meeting. We
Yeah.
just didn't want to be,
Okay,
okay,
And I do have you marked for the April 17th.
thanks. And our committee has it on their calendars too, so it's just, it helps us have that goal to work towards. So,
perfect.
thank you.
We don't need a motion.
No, I just,
Yeah, okay, great.
it's like
That's what I thought.
things on the schedule.
Perfect. All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for being so on task.
I spy on you a lot via the Google Docs, so it's great. You're doing good work. Motion to approve the town manager's appointment of Courtney McPherson to the position of CEO. 10F. I will make the motion that we approve the town manager's appointment of Courtney McPherson to the position of CEO.
Is that something that we normally do?
I don't know.
I would say, we're kind of splitting hairs, but I would say confirm, but yes.
Confirm.
The select board confirms the town manager's hiring of department heads.
Okay.
So it's in our code, which references state law, that the town manager does have the authority to hire and fire all staff. With department heads, the town manager can hire any department head with the approval of the select board. I never hire and then a department head and then tell the selectman, this is who I've hired. I always get that
I don't remember the last
before.
CEO coming in front of us, but okay.
But, and I usually will do something like this just to, you know,
We had Kingston.
to show that
Yeah,
I've
Kingston,
done this.
Kingston, Randy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Before you vote on it, are you gonna have a discussion?
Sure.
Okay. So I just wanna say that, Courtney was hired with an effective date of January 29th. When we lost our last code officer, and Kingston Brown is our alternate, of course, he stepped in. I called him and he said he would do what we needed. I talked with Courtney, and Courtney served in the capacity, the first week the girls in the office did it, but it was pretty busy for them to do that. So Courtney agreed to act as the go-between. So everything that came, every request or anything to do with that office that came in, Courtney handled it, and then she made the conversations with Kingston, scheduled everything, and started organizing that office, and was doing a really good job. Her position, that position also covers being the local health officer, which she has already received since she's been hired. She's done the training and received the certificate of completion for that position. You have to have that completed with the state in 6 months. She's already completed that. She's also the E91 coordinator, and she has completed the training on that and will be receiving notification that she's completed that. The requirement to be a CEO, there are 5 areas of training and certification that are required. The state allows 1 year to get those certifications after being hired if you don't have them. One is the local plumbing inspector. She has a year to get that certification, but the state does issue a 6-month temporary certification, and that's been applied for, and she will be working under Kingston. She has been working with him since the time and job shadowing. When he comes here to do inspections, she goes with him, and so that's a very good piece for her. The second item she has to have certification for within a year is the subsurface wastewater disposal training. She is scheduled for the March 27th class that is being put on by the state. That will be in the town of Casco. The third are legal issues training. She has already completed training and has received her certification in legal issues. Land use is one that hasn't been scheduled yet because it hasn't come up, and shoreline zoning. So she's made a very good attempt at cleaning out the desk and getting everything organized and getting things done that need to be done. So I wanted to let you know that.
Question that has nothing to do with Courtney, but filling her other positions, are those?
So the other 2 positions, I'm in the process of working on that. She's the planning assistant and the assessor's assistant. So I have a few things. I'll be bringing some options to you, because I'm looking at combining those 2 with something else and seeing what you think about it. Those 2 positions are 30 hours a week for the 2. They're each a part-time position, and I have a couple of options that I want to run by you. I have not advertised it yet. The 2 job descriptions do have to be revised, which is another project I've been working on for the past month. All of the office job descriptions, they don't line up the way they should right now. So I sat down with Jess and Amy and Christy, and we're working on those to make sure that the job descriptions match the work that the girls do. So those will all be updated.
Cool. But it's part-time, you can't do that?
I have been for the last couple weeks, yeah.
It's not about Ken.
Yes, agreed. I do need to sleep
So I'll
in.
have those options for you to look at it, as to what I'm thinking about.
Thank you.
She's gonna do them right now, though, while.
I am doing them, yes.
Yes. She
So if
is.
anybody wants to come to the planning board meeting next week.
Thank you.
We do have a second.
Who else is yeah?
Yeah,
Second.
do we have a second?
I don't think so, because I have
No, because you asked a question.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
confirm
I'll
versus
second.
approve.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I don't know, she's pretty,
It was
she's
nice
pretty
to
into
have,
her
that's
mitts. Okay, so we have a first, a second, no more, comments?
Yes, thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
We're excited. All those in favor?
Thank you.
All right, 10G, discuss the cost of living increase for employees for the FY 2025 budget.
So this is something I was supposed to have ready for tonight. My spreadsheet I didn't because of some unexpected things that came up today, but I will finish it and get it to you. The cost of living adjustment this year is at 3.2%. And what I have for you is, it's going to show where current wages are with their wage and benefit package. And I will be making some recommendations as to for cost of living to be with the 3.2%. And I will also have a few wage adjustments to bring some of the wages in average wage adjustments with other towns. Some of our jobs are above what other towns are paying, some of them are below, some of them are right about average. So they're all in those ranges. And I always look at groups every year to see what adjustments are needed every year, because they don't all need to be adjusted every year, but I want to just show you that so you can see where we line up with the other communities.
Okay.
Do we get included in that?
Oh my God.
Your wage for selectmen,
Yeah.
I will put that there and I will do that.
I will give you $200 of my dollars.
You will not.
I will. I'll do it. I'll do it if we never have to talk about getting
Actually-
another raise ever again.
The chart that I
Well, after the
have,
last year we went through,
the chart that I have has full-time, part-time, has stipend, has selectmen on it. It has firefighter 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It has all of the wages of the paramedics and the ambulance workers. I just have to combine that with the benefit package, and then show you what the comparisons are with other towns of similar size as ours, and within an hour traveling distance. That's how I do it.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So, is that gonna go on the next agenda?
It will be on the next agenda, but
Okay.
you'll have it in time to review it, and then, because I need that in doing that section of the budget.
Okay. 10H, discussion and action on the Parkway project. Did I miss one? No. I'm just out of order in my.
So if I may, I talked with Loretta today after our meeting, because the Newry board met last night, and they voted not to take any action on this right now. They would like more information. They would like to know Sunday River's stand on this, and if they're interested in this. This is a lot of money for this beginning stage, and right now, the cost really is unknown. I mean, we're doing this, it could be $100,000 more or $50,000 more, but she also said that they wanted to wait and see what Bethel was gonna do. So,
What's gonna do?
Us.
what our decision was gonna be, and I said, I don't know because we haven't met yet, but I do think that, whether or not Sunday River is interested
I
in
would s-
joining in this.
I would say this is dead on arrival.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 120,000 to 150,000 for the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like that was a pretty
It's a term I've heard lately, and it kind of works here.
And I wouldn't wanna proceed with anything until there's a discussion with Sunday River.
Same.
Okay.
Okay.
So did you wanna take action on it, or just
No, I don't think we should
just
take
let
action.
it be?
Yes.
Here, let it sit.
Just let it ride.
Let
Yes,
sitting dogs
We're gonna ride.
fly.
Let it ride.
Okay, so 10I, discussion and action to review and approve the draft proposed by Attorney Mary Costigan for the cannabis establishments ordinance to repeal the 9 marijuana ordinances. So this is just a consolidation.
Yes, and last week, Mary actually sent this to me, that she had completed the draft of the proposed cannabis establishment ordinance, which that's a new name that she changed it to, because it's no longer considered marijuana, it's cannabis. And that was on the 28th. So I provided you a copy with that, and also a copy of our 9 ordinances to review in advance. And so I don't know if you read it, if you have questions.
Other than like the selectmen.
That's the only thing.
That I have all circled.
Yeah. And there were some, I think some misspelled words. I think the rest of it is fine, but who's gonna make the corrections on those?
Mary's gonna finish this. Mary did this, so Mary will finish it for us, and whatever the corrections are.
With grammar and like spelling and stuff that we can easily do we have to send it back to the lawyer?
No, I have the draft of it, so I can do
I
it.
think we should just do it. I prefer not to.
That's what I was gonna say, I mean,
Let
like,
me-
paying her,
Yeah, I
$400 an hour to do grammar.
Call me cheap,
And
but.
no, that's absolutely right. And I mean, I can do that unless, the only way I would send it back to her is if you had other changes that you wanted considered.
Oh, like
So-
content changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question being is, if you make those corrections, do you have to send it back to her again?
No, I don't.
Okay. So, okay.
So should we just go through and do we have those isolated out? Like, do you have them circled and stuff?
Well, they are because
At the
Jim
selectmen
sent this
one side.
to Mary, and he asked her if she would make 3 changes.
Okay.
One is a spelling to adult, which was incorrectly spelled. The other one was changing selectman to select board. And the other one was putting in 136, which was the reference for one of the ordinances. And she did write back today, and she said that she doesn't generally, what she said was, the changes look fine after Jim sent that. She generally advises against using specific chapter references like the addition of chapter 36, because Jim recommended that she add chapter 36 on that one paragraph.
Which paragraph was it? Cause she did a reference on odors,
On what?
on odors. 46(3)I. So, I mean, we could either reference or not reference, I just.
What she did, Jim said requirements of chapter 136 sign ordinance. She just put sign ordinance, she didn't put chapter 136. And she doesn't usually reference the chapters in case the chapters change in the code book.
So should we cross out this one here then, too? She did odors, the Bethel site plan review ordinance, I mean, not that would really change.
The site plan review, is that one in code?
Yeah.
Our original ones didn't have a chapter for the sign ordinance either.
Yeah,
And I think it's probably just a chapter that she's referring to.
oh, okay.
So she has it under odors.
Well, that's what I was saying, it's just like if you, it makes sense to me that you wouldn't reference a chapter, but you would reference the name of a chapter.
But plus odors,
Selectman, you would, okay.
signs is a standalone, sign ordinance is a
An
is a
odor is
standalone.
one
An
of
odor
the
is
site
within
plan.
the.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
maybe-
I understand. Okay. So yeah, I guess if we make those changes.
There was a couple of, capitalization. When we refer to the type of facility, I think they're capitalized, some of them aren't, some of them are.
So I can go through that as well.
It's really struggling, that feeder downstairs.
Yeah. So do you want them capitalized or not?
I think capitalized so they stand out.
Yes.
In what?
So, for example, B, 46-3, B, the buffer strip. It is, well, there it's should be adult use, cannabis manufacturing facility, capitalized. Whenever there's a reference to a facility, it's just easier to read.
Oh, yeah, that's a good, I like that.
And medical cannabis manufacturing.
I had the words desirable circled, just and was that in the original? Like, that seems like it's big.
Easier to.
Where-
In
where is
that-
it?
in that
Where is
same
it?
paragraph, that buffer strip, paragraph, capitalize it, she's saying to me.
The whole
The planning
section.
board or the planning board deems the separation is desirable.
I just
Planning board deems that separation is desirable.
I always hate when the planning board has discretion, like I just think they should be told to do something or not, but maybe what it means is that the abutter has asked for it.
Which one are you talking about?
The buffer strip, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
46
yeah, on the
3B.
buffer strip.
Okay.
Like, I just circled the word desirable, because I wasn't really, that was just a
Like, what
question
does
to me,
desirable
like,
mean?
Yeah, and like, how do you know when to do it?
That really does not make sense.
Yeah, the whole, okay. I had a question mark by that whole paragraph.
So do you want to have a public hearing on this?
Yeah, we have to, I
Yeah.
agree,
Oh, we definitely have to,
yeah.
yes.
So,
But I think before the public hearing, Sarah,
We're
you were
doing
questioning
Sarah.
this one just from the select board saying
Yeah.
that you want to decide, or put in there before you went to.
Building permit requirements.
I think with,
I'm underneath, you
don't-
look here,
I don't love that like.
you can see,
Am I
46
looking-
3.
No, I-
Maybe I'm looking at a different version.
No, I have it right here.
There's,
I think
I'm
it's-
looking
I think it's
at, I'm
fine.
looking at the original one you sent, gave us last week. Did it
This-
change?
just say, no, it's the
Oh,
same.
okay.
This
That's-
is-
Yeah.
It's the same.
This must be the
The
old.
old one, that's the
Okay,
old one, yeah,
that's
this is
why,
the-
I stapled the two separate, right?
yeah,
Small.
First and Shore is the like cover page of the new.
I got it now, I'm looking at it now.
So the only content change in this really is the 1,000-foot setback. Even though it was not put in the code, it was approved in 2020, the 500-foot setback for retail marijuana, retail adult and retail recreation. It was a special town meeting. It never got put in the code. So that's why our code keeps saying 1,000 feet. But technically, this is, it would be a content change, to change everything back to 1,000. This one.
The 500 feet was just for that one, that was
So-
one side.
Michelle,
It was for two.
where is that?
Yeah,
Where
so
you
we
want
need
it
to
to see?
Um,
So we're looking-
46-4D.
Thank you.
I think it needs to go back to 500, right? That's what the town voted on.
Well, it doesn't matter because they're gonna vote on this.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna-
whatever
right.
you want, 1,000 or 500, is what will be voted on. So what this, the vote on this is gonna repeal every other vote
Sure.
and repeal the 9 other ordinances.
Right.
Well, well, in that case, I still think 500 should be put up for the vote, because that's what the town voted on, and it's not the town's fault that nobody updated the code in a timely manner.
Well, even if that even if the code wasn't updated, you should have been going on what was approved anyway. Didn't matter that the code
Right.
didn't get
Yeah,
updated.
Right.
So, and it changed it to 500, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, but not,
Only
not
two.
across the board.
Only the two retail pieces, the
Right.
retail medical
It
and
was not
retail
across the board.
adult, it was just the two.
And that's what happened is
Yeah.
Mary took it that way, that it was across the board and it should not have been.
Okay.
Because that's what it, I mean, she was using the ordinances the way they're written, which still has 1,000 in there. I'm
Okay.
fine with putting 1,000 back, the situation that we had is no longer there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They
I
get their
don't,
waiver and they're happy.
yeah, and I don't think that we have another situation.
No,
Not at the moment.
no, because the daycares are all gone.
No. Trust me, I know.
But that would be the only content change.
Yeah.
So it will, you
I-
will
for me,
keep it
it's
at
just-
1,000
It
then in
stays
here.
at 1,000.
Okay.
Jim,
Is that the consensus you want to go?
I mean, it seems like at least 4 out of 5. I think like it's a respect issue, like if the town voted that way, then that should be the basis, but I don't actually care, so. Go ahead, Tim.
I can't find it right now, but, I think the appeals part was changed from what was in to her new version. You might wanna just double look at that. I know it came into a discussion, I got my papers all,
46.7 in the old.
And so it's, on the new one, it's 46.7 appeals on, right here.
Yeah.
yeah, it was the wording and it got rid of something that's on the, I think on the state level.
46,100 looks like there's an appeal.
They're both on an appeal, but it's,
In the old, it's 46,100.
Okay.
46.7 there, it's 46.
so what are you saying about the appeals, Jim?
You're saying that it was.
Just double check that because Michelle, there wasn't, she asked about content change and there was discussion, I can't find it right now, but I think the wording in appeal got changed because I think something got cropped out of it. From the old to the new.
old 9 one?
Mary crossed it off because I don't think it applies now.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not-
fan of the appeals on 46.7.
I'm not
Yeah,
seeing
it
it.
looks like it's exactly the same.
The difference seems to be, she says on preponderance of evidence, and she doesn't word it with preponderance of evidence in the meaning.
Where is that?
Well,
See
there's
that on-
46,100 in the
Oh,
old.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about the whole paragraph, okay.
Yeah, and then 46,7 here, if you read them side by side, they're the same up until you get to this thing where it says, was not based on a preponderance of evidence.
In the old one.
In the old one, that's in the old, and that's not in the new.
Well, and there's a different one, 4639 in the old one.
39 too.
It's a
Oh, that's
different
right,
appeal.
because it's 9
Then,
Okay, got it. So these ones just applies to all of them across the board.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
this
it's-
one here appeals all the others.
Yeah, so it still has 30 days, no matter what the old appeals had, this has 30 days.
Yeah.
And the appeals board may grant, or reinstate the permit.
Fine for the denial or
Yeah.
eviction or, yeah, it's all the same under.
And
Yeah,
Okay.
she's just changed the wording from preponderance to sufficient.
Yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't mention the public health part.
Did you see that, Jim?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you see that, what they found, the difference was? Preponderance to, it's,
Yeah, it was, yeah, it's in there,
okay.
or.
We're
Yeah,
okay then?
yes,
Yes,
we were okay with it, I just wanted,
Yeah,
you guys,
Yeah, because we had to
There might-
underline the
Yeah.
things.
yeah.
and-
Okay.
For clarity,
I'm
it's
still-
important.
I'm a little out of it.
You're still concussed.
I'm still concussed.
Sorry. Sucks. So with the couple edits that we've made, the Board of Selectmen, the adult, what was the other? Adult and
Select board.
select board,
Select, it was
yeah, I got
all
that one.
changed to
The
select board.
capitalization.
Oh, the capitalization,
Yeah.
consistency.
Spelling, the spelling too.
Spelling.
The adult, right, was there another one besides adult?
Not that I know of.
We can go through.
Is there any other changes that we wanted to put forth? Alright, so,
Do you want the public hearing to be before selectmen's meeting like you usually do? Okay. So we'll see if we can meet the date requirements for that for the next meeting. We will go through this and make sure we try to catch everything. I'll send it off to you just so that you can take a quick eye of it.
okay,
Will the public hearing only have to do with this?
Yes, just this.
What about the other ordinances that are changing?
We'll do those at another time. This one might take a little bit longer,
Okay.
but we have the others scheduled right now.
April first.
Yeah, something like, I didn't bring that schedule with me, but when we get to the other codes one too, she didn't have that stuff ready today, so we were hoping it would, but
yeah,
yes, if we can address, as we get these ready,
the more we can do. the better.
yeah. And even if, when you go to a public hearing, if there's grammar changes that you find, then that can still be changed. And then it gets in its original form to go.
Okay,
And when were we going to rethink the fee schedule? Or
That you can do anytime. What I can do is I can bring a list of everything you approved, what the fees were back in 2022. And then you can look at what you want for fees, but that can be done at any of your select board meetings.
I think we should get on that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see the application to be
Yeah.
adjusted.
I'll ask her because that was the second part of what she was gonna do was, and I think she was waiting to see what we wanted to do with this, because if it was a complete no, then she'd have to start from scratch, but I think she did a pretty good job of combining and cleaning the whole thing up. And then what I can ask her to do is to draft the application as it would be consistent with this.
Okay.
And then I can get the schedule of all the fees that you last approved, and then you can, maybe we'll have them at the same time. I'll see how quick she can get that.
Okay. Do we have, just out of curiosity, do we have like a policy set in place for like how the CEO reviews marijuana permits? Like, I'm getting a renewal, we do X, Y, Z, and that's how the renewal is processed. Just, cause I know one of the big things with the fee schedule was that, it wasn't, we kept having the whole, it needs to be like the admin cost, you can't like overcharge. And that was like, I just wanna get a little clarity on that, and then beyond that, I wanna know exactly like how much time these permits do take. I think that would be helpful in kind of gauging where our fees are at, and if it's fair, and if it's like legal.
Right, yeah, because we keep getting questioned.
Yeah, I just want a little clarity on whether or
And
not.
Mary will advise on the fees that we show her that we would be proposing. And I know there was comment at previous meetings that it didn't matter what other towns are charging. But you really want to be consistent with what your local towns around are charging too, because if you're too low, everybody's gonna come here.
Right.
So that's another thing.
That was
to look
always
at.
the thing that was like,
Yeah.
well, can we like limit the number of permits given out? Like it
You can,
scares me to lower the price really low for that exact reason without having some other thing in place.
some towns have, their policies
The
have,
mechanism.
they limit how many can be approved in each category.
Yeah,
Other towns, there's no limit. It's strictly what you decide you wanna do.
We can get feedback from Mary, but I believe when this first came up 2 years ago to try to streamline it, her recommendation was not to limit it. But we can get that information from her.
That was the information we got too,
Okay,
so
okay.
Just
where
not
I
limit
live,
it.
there's no limit.
Yeah, and then,
It always brings a lot of controversy, but that's the reason we put no limit on it.
and then, didn't she have some sort of definition of the admin fee to give us more clarity?
that's what I want.
Okay, because I thought I
And
remember
I'll
saying
have
that.
that
You'll have that too.
whenever we do
Yeah,
the
okay.
Yeah.
fees.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you for making my mush mouth make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all, I really just, it's hard to make a judgment call when I don't really know, you know. It's nice to have a CEO who can tell us like, oh, I do this many hours of work or however it is. And if there is some type of precedent to distinguish a renewal from a new application, which I think is the one that makes the most sense.
Do you have a copy of that? Sure, I can give you. One of the things we are gonna do is, there's gonna be a checklist when they come in the different categories, that,
No, I don't. Susan
Okay.
has it, so we're working on that.
okay, there'll be a checklist put together. This has to be done before it comes through
This
here,
table, yeah.
here, and then to the ultimate. And then the other thing you're going to have is, it's a spreadsheet, and it lists by category all of these,
Oh, you sent this to us from Oxford?
yeah.
Yeah, you sent this to us.
We're putting that together.
So
Oh,
they're
great.
doing that right
So they're-
now,
you're
and doing a
customizing.
spreadsheet,
Great.
so you'll see all of the categories for all of the, that we have, the medical, the, whatever the categories are. It'll show the fee they paid, where the location is, and then it will show, when it was approved and when it expires. So you'll have all that, and you'll get that every time one of these come to you.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
awesome. Little movement. I'll take it. All right, 10J, discussion and action to review and approve the proposed amendment.
I'm
Did you
sorry.
read something?
Yes, are you gonna make a motion?
Oh, yeah.
My motion was made.
I'm so sorry.
Are you going to?
I will make the motion that with the edits discussed, I would, push this to the next level to a public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 10J, discussion and action to review or approve the proposed amendments to Code Chapter 5 Administration, read Bethel Airport, proposed by Michelle.
Sure, yep, you should have in your packet, proposed amendments to chapter 5 administration as it relates to the airport and the airport budget. What the amendments, look to do is to, which is what it says on the front of the memo, establish that the costs and revenues associated with the Bethel Regional Airport, the components of the town's general fund, municipal budget. This will eliminate the enterprise fund, where they have a separate budget and we're responsible for their revenues, of course responsible for their expenses, and it's something that currently in our code, the selectmen approve. And kind of the reasonings for it is, as I've been attending airport authority meetings, they're becoming fixated on what to raise revenue. So, for example, they're looking to charge $20 fees for tie downs and such, and because they're worried about being able to cover their costs. And for me, I'd rather have them be focused on, you know, safety and operation and maintenance at the airport. Plus, for at least I say the past couple of years, in order to balance the budget, you probably saw it in the budget for the airport last year, fund balance money is being used anyway.
Yeah.
And also, this is for me, how I always kind of relate when I talk to other towns or and such about support for the airport is, it's another highway that comes into our area for safety, for medical, for recreation, for business, for citizens and such. So the town takes care of its infrastructure and its roads. This is another road in. And I think the other point to make with this too is that when the town signed up to have an airport back in the 70s and such, it's the town's responsibility. It's not just, oh, the person who has a plane or, you know, this part of the town or whatever. The town signs up, the legislative body signed up to take care of its airport. So that's what these amendments here attempt to do.
I got a lot of thoughts about this. So the town has pretty vocally been against contributing tax revenue to wastewater. They do anyway, but they've been very actively vocal against it. And that's something that literally all of our services work off of. The airport, I don't think it's gonna be received well, I guess, and that's a concern of mine, so I guess, and another thing is, like, if the door's being locked at the airport now, it's not being used as like a town space because FAA requires it to not be kind of like a public space. Like, what's in it for the average taxpayer that really folding it into the situation and not having it be an enterprise? I mean, it's not really acting as an enterprise anyways, right? Because we're
According to the auditors, it is
subsidizing.
not an enterprise account.
Okay. I
You're
definitely.
treating it as an enterprise account, but it is not because it's not self-sufficient.
Right.
All you have to look at is, and it's in code that way, at the end of the year, if the airport budget is $75,000 short,
Yeah.
that money, that airport account gets balanced by taking $75,000 out of the fund balance. So why didn't you just,
Fold it in and make it a department.
yes, in budget $75,000 more. So with that said, the airport could say, they're gonna balance our budget anyway, so we can go over.
Yeah.
So if you have an enterprise account, you're supposed to, your revenues pay for your expenses. That doesn't happen here.
Yep, in the legislative body, I mean, there's sort of protections of that, how the code was written, that if the budget is like over 175,000, then, which it has been the last several years, it's a warrant article.
Mhm.
So, in a way, the townspeople have been supporting it. I see the wastewater a little bit different. They're both instrumental. Wastewater, of course, is instrumental. That does help a finite number of persons. So I see the airport a little bit different.
So wastewater helps a finite, how does the airport help me? Is the question we're gonna have to be answering.
Absolutely.
How does the airport help me? Because I don't have a plane, I now can't go in there and go to the bathroom, I can't use the
Right.
public room anymore.
So it's,
So what's the pitch?
right, so the pitch is that you can't have the airport, you can't have the improvements, you can't have FAA without having legislative approval, which is at town meeting.
Yeah,
So back in the 1970s, when they signed up for an airport, that's what they signed up for. And it's kind of it just kind of feeds on itself.
but is it a similar situation to where, like,
that's what everyone said about wastewater, like, that's what you hear all the time, like, when they put that wastewater in, they said it would pay for itself, we'd never have to put a dime into it, and then they came back and asked for money, and that's why they get mad every single time. So like, was it a situation like that, like, oh, don't worry, the airport's gonna pay for itself, and that's why they agreed to it, like, what's, I don't know the history, so.
No,
I just-
I
don't wanna
think,
get myself
I think
into
what
a
happened
debacle.
is, it's just kind of time, it's changed.
Yeah,
There are no more industrial lots that would have helped with the revenue, so things have changed down there. Again, it's an infrastructure that the town signed up for. You didn't sign up for it, I didn't sign up for it, but the town signed up for it. It's a highway that comes in, there's Lifeline that comes in. So you have emergency services that use it. It helps our economy. It's a regional airport. And I think if we can just look at that alone and just call a spade, it's happening anyway.
yeah.
So let's just deal with it and have the legislative body, go through the budget situation as it would any other department, and kind of go from there.
I think to answer your question
Mine,
is, yes,
yeah,
how do we explain to the public
yeah,
how how this has
gone to this place.
yes,
Yeah.
how does this I don't wanna lose my train of thought. The airport, airport isn't a standalone entity. It is interconnected with all the airports in the country. And there are a lot of airports in Maine and throughout the country. And it is a national network of transportation. To prove it, and not only is it a national program of transportation to our country, the federal government finances about 90% of it, if I'm not mistaken. They're paying for it. The other 10% comes from us. So it's not that the public is paying the bill over there. They're paying a small portion of it, so the feds come in here and support this system of transportation that is available to Bethel. Now, the value of that is that there are people that fly in here on a regular basis to do business here, to send their kids to Gould, to do business with Sunday River, for a variety of different reasons. They also spend money in town. There's people who are sending kids to the school. They're spending and providing services for the mountain and things like that. And they also come to my restaurant and other businesses too. So that is the pitch there, is that we're a part of a national system that federal money's supporting for us to have this airport over here and provide this type of service, which brings up the value of what Bethel has to offer people coming to the area, people who are in the area, and there are a lot of local people who are using that airport, local people who live right here in Bethel. And I think that's pretty, and also they don't only live here in Bethel, but they live outside of Bethel, within driving distance, and keep their airplanes there. And some of them own big hangars over there, or don't own,
How
but
many
at least,
airplanes are there?
I don't have the exact number, but there's quite a few. And there's quite a few very expensive airplanes over
hangars.
there.
4.
What's that?
I'm
Hangars,
confused.
right.
Yeah.
They use a wastewater treatment plant out there? I thought that was not available on the other side of the bridge.
What?
It is?
No, I didn't say anything.
Well, I'm not understanding the wastewater treatment part of it.
Oh,
There
I mean,
might be.
the only parallel here is that, like, both are enterprise funds technically right now, right? So anytime wastewater goes over its budget, that comes out of general fund. Anytime the airport goes over its budget, it comes out of general fund. But the wastewater, we've asked for, like, previously, we've had conversation like, hey, should we just, make everyone pay a little bit so that we can kind of get wastewater above board? And it's been like a hard no from most people in town. So that was my only worry, is like, if we're
if we're not willing to subsidize wastewater, why are people gonna be willing to subsidize the airport?
Why is wastewater in here?
What are you talking about?
Well,
So wastewater is in here because of the type of budgeting, how the budgeting is done. So the airport and the wastewater are budgeted the same. The code currently has that the selectmen approve the budget for a certain time. And it does not go to the legislative body, it does not go to town meeting for the people to
That's,
vote up or down.
that's why the town manager does the budget for wastewater and then presents it to us, and then that's why she, or they, I should say. We don't always have a she, it's just pretty common. So, or like the airport's the same way, like, they'll put together the budget and then present it to us, but no other department is like that. Every other department is presented as one.
Okay, so my other question is, I don't know how to word this, it's like, how did Michelle get to do this?
Cause she goes to all the meetings and stays informed.
But as far as changing an ordinance,
She proposed it,
Selectmen.
anybody can. Yeah.
Selectmen can.
okay.
Selectmen are responsible for the ordinance, to send something
Yeah,
forward.
Yeah.
And we have, obviously, we have resources, we have a town manager, we have ORC, we have different resources that we can use. And of course, the public, a citizen can petition
Right.
to things.
we petitioned when we got elected, basically, to,
Well, I know we have the form for them to fill out if they want to do it, and I just never saw one, so that's why I didn't know how it came to be about, came about.
Okay, I mean, should it probably go
Form
through
is
the
for the ORC
That's-
committee, it's not for
But-
selectmen.
But I didn't know
Oh,
that,
but
I didn't know
wouldn't this still
individually we could do it
yeah,
without presenting it to the ORC.
But wouldn't this have to go to ORC or, oh, really?
it needs to go to public hearing, 100%. So basically, so ORC, let's explain this all.
Yeah, 'cause
Let's do
yeah.
the flow chart, guys. ORC is advisory to the select board, so we can assign ORC, say, hey, we need support with this, we need help, can you help us draft something or amend something? And we'll send it to ORC, and then ORC sends it back to us. It still needs our approval before it goes to the next step, which is public hearing. So we're the last line. So if it's already here, we're still the last line. If we approve this today, it goes to public hearing. It doesn't need to go to RC. So
But
yeah,
it would still go to public hearing and then town meeting.
yeah, public hearing, potentially back to us if we wanted to amend some things, and then, yeah. So yeah, process. Took me a while to figure it out too. All right, well, I mean, it's the people's choice, and, yeah, I'm a little scared, but I'll do it.
Well, it makes sense to me, I'll make a motion to amend the, as worded here, amend the code, chapter 5, administration of the airport.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on this? No? All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Okay,
There's just too much in there that I
And
just.
so that is to
to put it to public hearing, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, that was to do what? To just go to public hearing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No, I didn't realize that. I thought we were just approving that.
Oh,
We're just approving it to go to public hearing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll go with that. I'm sorry.
yeah, always
Yeah, yeah.
public hearing, yeah. We can never
Never
just,
make a decision.
yeah, we can never make a decision, it's always the people's choice. We're just like, we say, yeah, we'd like them to
Well,
make that decision.
But we accept it as presented.
Yes,
to go to public.
to go to public hearing, and then it can be changed in the floor.
All right, I'll change it to a yes.
So yes, okay. All right. 10, discussion and action to review or approve the draft proposed by the codification company for Schedule A revisions to the town code.
So I gave you a copy of the email that Sadie sent to Jessica on where she is with the code, because originally she had told us that she wouldn't be able to have this to us until the 21st of March. Then she got February.
Okay, I was like,
Then she got an email on the 2nd of February saying that her schedule changed and she thought she'd be able to have the draft, as the email said, for tonight. But we didn't get it, and Jess did try to reach her, so she might have been out or something. But
Okay.
what we will do, Jess will try to reach her again tomorrow. As soon as we get the draft from Sadie, we'll immediately email it to you, so you have it. We'll have to put it on the agenda for next week.
do we know how big of a document it
So, Michelle,
It's your code book,
is? Okay.
it's your code book.
Neat.
Essentially would be,
But how many
She'll
changes,
have it.
I guess?
Oh,
So I
there-
believe it's the Schedule A, which
It's-
is everything that we went over with substantive changes,
Okay,
and that's what will be presented for you guys to review.
Okay.
there's it summarizes the
Right.
changes.
okay.
so what she's gonna
So
send
then we'll
is a
know where to
summary.
find the
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
That's really what I want to
It
know.
won't be the
Yeah.
whole book, the
Or-
Schedule A is all
Okay,
Just
so
a summary.
I stand corrected,
Yeah.
you won't have the whole book, you will have.
Right.
A summary
Yeah,
budget.
this,
Okay.
it'll just be the summary, which will show the different changes.
Okay, okay, and then we can look at our book and then reference how it's changing. Okay, great.
So, and speaking of changes, this one still says selectmen on it, the one that we just voted on.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Which
I
one?
didn't notice that too.
Yeah, after I just,
That's why you make an amendment.
What was that? I missed that.
Well, I'm just saying, if that goes to the
Yeah.
public hearing that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
not
Yes.
right.
But
the,
in the board, in the new code book itself, they will make that
That are
sweeping
already
change
leaving.
Yes.
of
Yeah,
it-
if it
everything that
happens
was
to
Board of
Okay.
Selectmen will be Select Board. They're just
Okay.
gonna make that across the board change with the new code books coming out.
but we could ask Sharon to change the airport one to select one.
Oh, the one you gave? me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
So if it goes to her, that it will get changed.
All right, so no action needed on that. We are in the warrants. Oh. All right, 11A, action on accounts payable warrant 2024-31 in the amount of $158,419.87.
What did she say?
Are you doing 30 or 31? Because there's 30 there too.
30 is what I said,
Okay.
right?
I thought you said
30.
31, that's why I was.
More than eight.
Well, if I do that,
We're doing 11 acres.
So I got a question about cash payroll. Is that, it's just straight payroll with a check, or is it cash that came out of a drawer somewhere?
No, that is, what's that amount on there that you're looking at?
Well, well,
That's,
I just had it, sorry.
it's, that references the amount of
It's
pay.
$3,405.97.
That's one of the payrolls. Because we have payroll is outsourced,
Yes,
so, that's just how that prints on there, that's part,
okay.
it's part of the, if I can explain that right, it's part of the payroll.
it's the cost to do payroll.
No, because you got it over here for,
Is
Can
it
you tell us where on the
340590,
document?
is it 340597 for the check?
Yes, it's under 00382.
00.
382 on the left, it's in that.
Yeah, but that's not the
Is the
figure you
check
just
amount
gave.
$3,405.97?
3,000.
Oh, down here, because I was looking up here,
Yes.
it says cash payroll
So-
up here.
That is the total of certain things that come out of a payroll check.
okay.
Okay, so it,
Oh, like the state taxes and stuff?
yes, but
But
that's just how it
I-
reads.
Yeah, cash always kind of
You hate the
It
word
shows-
dash.
Well, it
It
catches
shows-
my eye.
Yes, yes, this is what it covers. So it's different payroll deductions from the payroll. Yes, so basically on this particular one, it's benefits that come out of the checks that have to then get paid to the health trust,
It's like a
dental insurance.
Yeah.
You got it, okay?
I got it. Thank you.
Make a motion that we approve the warrant for 2024-30 in the amount of $158,419.87.
I'll second it.
Any comment? All those in favor? Alright, on to 11B, action on accounts payable warrant 2024-31 in the amount of $31,289.72.
Just for my own understanding, what is a lien discharge?
So when someone has a lien put on their property because they don't pay their tax after a certain period of time, then they come in and pay that. Then we print off a lien discharge, we have to send it to the registry of deed, and that $19 is the cost of the lien discharge.
Okay. Thanks.
I'll make the motion that we approve accounts payable warrant 2024-31 in the amount of $31,289.72.
Okay.
So we have to discuss it and then you vote on it.
Correct, yeah. Any,
Oh, okay.
any discussion? Did you second? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You're just so quiet and I don't hear. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Great. On to 11C, action on accounts payable warrant 2024-32 in the amount of $433,098.93.
So moved.
Second?
Excellent. Any comments on that?
Yeah, the room for hospital for a test, is that under a workman's comp or something?
No, we do, it's drug testing.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they go for
Yeah.
those tests.
All those in favor? Super. Select board items? Anyone have anything?
Interested in where we stand with the Tri-Town wastewater, transfer station.
Oh my God.
I have no report on that because I haven't done anything on that at this point.
So we're just in limbo.
We're just fine.
In limbo?
Yes, right now. I will have some answers on some of the things because I just went through the budget with Scott, and I'll be pulling some information together that I was going to pull together when we started meetings that I need to have for doing the budget. But as far as getting anything in-depth done on that.
So Dover still has not given us an answer as to what they want or what they will approve or anything, right?
I think we were supposed to get some information from Casella, regarding like tipping and, having that, we really can't do anything until we have the full information.
Okay.
And then call a meeting. after
Yeah, and then call a
information.
meeting, yeah. Is there a time that you would like us to bring this back to you, so that you can kind of focus on what you need to focus on for budget, but then we can give you a little reminder, like a timer?
You can give me a timeline if you want. I
No,
have,
you can give us the timeline, is what I'm saying.
I will give you a timeline at the next meeting.
Okay.
Once I get a little further in the budget, then I'll be able to free up a little bit more time. I need to make sure that I understand every area of the budget in order to feel that I can make recommendations. I can't just say, well, that was the amount last year, we'll go with that this year. Okay. I have to be a little bit more.
We like that. Thank you.
But I haven't forgotten.
No, I know you haven't forgotten, I just, if we can help you by, like, keeping it out of your brain sphere and putting it into our brain sphere.
Nothing comes out of my brain.
Alrighty, any other, select board items? I mean, I guess we'll mention one more time that we do eventually wanna look at that fee schedule for marijuana. Just-
I'll have that ready for you for next week to bring.
Super.
And actually, I can send that to you so that you have that in advance, and I can do that around the same time that I do the wages.
Super.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second. All those in favor? Bye.
So this is for the Parkway project. Proposal and everything. And also the police log, which I'm hoping to start getting directly from them.
Well, I can always email that. I have an extra
Two
copy.
sets. All right.
Two sets?
Yeah, two sets starts getting.
Nice try, Jess, nice
Not
try.
very good. Right there.
Um,
And then these are the two for the marijuana.
So,
And then these are the three ordinances.
this is where I can come up with this. Yeah, so, that's okay. I put everything together so that I know where it is.
I was going through some credit card, statements, and I saw last year that I was for a rise on April 17th. That was pretty early last year.
Can I keep it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing was what?
That project that the,
Okay, that's in my other packet.
and DOT.
yeah, if you have it marijuana.
You and Sharon, I think, have
Is that right?
all the
Which DOT?
changes that we're looking to do,
Sorry.
whether it's
Yep, I have those.
Sharon,
Actually,
actually,
the
the
sidewalk would be
list
great too.
I
Although that's not a full.
She's talking about the congestion.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the congestion is down at stage, kind of, that was very nice.
keep track of what we got.
I was waiting to see which Yes. ones were gonna.
I have
Yeah,
some
yeah,
exact
yeah.
But yes, I
estimates,
do
so.
have.
The one where we
Oh,
saw
that'd be great.
it's
Last year.
$120,000
remember
to
that
just do
you
a
said-
review of it, we're like,
Remember being so careful saying it.
Oh, I put it on.
Yeah, I was so careful.
Actually,
God,
that
I'm a
was
very
something
careful
that
rider. I do
came
not
from
allow
Loretta
my full to slow
and
down.
Natalie, and then they called us.
Yeah, he was like, but he's just.
They're always prepared to get out.
Yeah,
get out
no,
and
this is
go
what you
around.
need to
Yeah.
They'll do
Yeah.
non-stop.
Chris, what did we put down for a
That
title?
wasn't in
For the
my.
I had no idea that was
Just
happening.
remember, or-
Yes, you just put my.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Sure,
So-
you know, back then, I'm like, are these people on salary, why are we?
That was my agenda, my manager's.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
We had.
When you get to that intersection.
I didn't sign it.
Oh,
Where
sorry.
do I sign it?
You can do it, they were signing or.
So can I do it underneath?
Yeah, you can do it underneath, because they don't give you a lot, someone said, I hate to say it, but they're trans, like these people.
Look at the wheel. Approaching the field.
Gross, oh yeah, they keep getting busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was somewhat excited to see what the.
Oh, okay.
I was scared.
That's a Courtney question.
I know
But I
this,
don't
I'm just, I'm riding slow.
Nothing
Right,
wrong with
right,
that.
that'd be
I'm riding
great, that'd
slow.
be
That's-
awesome.
I'm talking about like.
Kind of excited to see
And
it.
that will be.
Nothing wrong with riding.
Did you see Beth
I don't
Harris
think we'll ever do
on
that.
Apple Misty?
To get those changes done.
Yeah, yeah.
They found
I was
something.
on school board years ago. and that
It was rough, you know, that's what got us together.
Yeah, my
20 years
grandmother,
later.
so my grandmother,
Sad, isn't it?
Must have worked.
horribly sad.
No, I just can't relax on it anymore now that we've got kids. We can't have kids, people have to pay attention.
To do something like
So we
roll
just-
it out like that, and like catch people off guard, and
You
then
know?
see.
Alright, I'll see you Wednesday, Jen.
September, they said they got their engineering report in September, where the
Yes,
engineer
today's
was like,
Wednesday.
children should not be in that building.
Valentine's Day, we'll spend it together.
He's like, we do.
Maybe I'll get heart shaped
I'm
cookie.
great.
Well, this was
Um,
a permit.
Are you gonna, answer my questions or not? You don't have to.
And they found out more, like,
I was just hearing it in my heart.
Yeah, we don't have to, we can do whatever. You don't have to go on it,
Well,
just I wanna be able to say, help your kid, are you a woman?
Oh,
Maybe,
yeah, yeah.
or maybe for a little bit. Oh, do you wanna do it with yours? I'll be here. What time, tell me what time, right when you come in?
I'm getting it.
Oh, I don't think I have any, I can eat at 7:30, if I have something for.
Y'all ever wanna know where I get it?
I don't care. 7:30. Well, you can't get until 8, so. I'll check my schedule at 7:30, and if you don't hear from me, then tomorrow.
Okay.
After 8,
That's,
so you can't.
that's how I got that in my
Alright,
mind.
I'll come over, yeah.
Alright, don't
And,
worry.
yeah, it'll be quick, don't worry, I won't bug you.
Alright.
And,
So when I went to the
tomorrow's Thursday, we said.
Oh, I think I have something, but I have meetings today.
Don't worry if you do, I mean, I live.
I just locked my office door. Meryl, did you see the full report on Agnes Gray?
I did.
It looks the same as it did when I went to school there, like 30 years ago.
That's because they stopped putting any money into it, because they were gonna
Well,
replace
no,
it.
one of the metal fire escapes that they have a big issue with was put in when I was in like 3rd grade. I remember them putting it in.
I'll,
Well, I mean,
let me make a copy real quick.
What's
Yeah.
the other one you needed?
Let's see, I think that was it. I might have to ask you
But
tomorrow.
at least you've got a lien on it, so that it can.
Still, when it was bugged.
We'll just be careful.
I am. Good night, everybody.
You should take care, Jimmy.
Bye, Jen.
But on the good news, when they did the CAT scan, they found there's nothing in there to bruise.
You really did eat it.
There's nothing in there, we know that.
I know.